In charge.
Are we doing electronic?
Yes, we are.
O'Kane.
Here.
Shaner. Here. Scott.
Here.
Waters.
Here.
Moore.
Here. Please stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Amen. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no proclamations, we have no interviews, so we'll go right to the consent agenda, which is items 2 through 12F. Consider them to pass unanimously.
Thank
If you want to speak on an item, please come up as I read it. If you want to speak on an item not under the agenda, come up under citizen concerns. Remember to always state your name and address for the record. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
2 is a reading of the September 18th City Council minutes. 3 is a motion accepting the museum director's annual evaluation.
Oh, I just want to point out one thing from that. I have to every year. Steve is a terrific director. The museum is lucky to have him. That line really resonated with me. And so I say this every year, but some of the best events that I attend during the year are held down at the museum. And I noticed one other thing in your evaluation this year, and that was that one of your goals is to find ways to bring people into the museum. And I always find myself, and I'm sure everybody does, because we're down there probably more than anybody, whenever I come in for an event, I always find 5 or 10 minutes to walk around the museum floor. And I always find something new. So I think the more events we host down there, which there's a plethora of them, the more opportunity people have to look around. And thank you for that, because the museum's always in a great state of cleanliness. The other thing that I wanted to call you out on is there's been probably 3 or 4 West High time capsule. Us trying to narrow that down. And just your entire museum staff is incredibly knowledgeable, and we're very fortunate to have that in our town. So thank you for that.
Mr. Lear.
Any questions?
I think so. I do have one thing to add, though. Bob and I just got back from the League of Cities, and the thing that concerns me the most about hosting that is we've never had enough classrooms. So I would hope that the convention center staff would be talking about you guys to send some of their, they have they breakout rooms, and we're short compared to other communities our size, so it would be nice to use a couple of those rooms you have for those breakout sessions if we could.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we have done that with a couple other people's conferences, the engineers or whatever, so I hope they reach out to us.
Good idea.
We're there.
Bob, will you make sure they do?
Yes. Great job, Steve, always. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
A nice short walk, too.
4 is a motion appointing Catherine Paffel to the Historic Preservation Commission. 5 is a resolution accepting a donation from the Parks and Recreation Foundation for the Long Lines Family Recreation Climbing Wall Facility. 6 is a resolution amending the position classification manual by adopting an updated job description for the parking meter repair worker. 7 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Andritz Separation for the repair of a wastewater treatment plant centrifuge. 8 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. 8 is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with FBH Design for the Convention Center's skylight replacement project. B is a resolution approving amendment number 2 to the consulting services agreement with DGR Engineering for the Stone Park Boulevard reconstruction project. I think you need to seriously on your engineering committee look at your damages, because if we're going to continue to pay the engineers all the damages and then some, why are we doing it?
You mean as far as the incentive, disincentive, and if it goes to the extra days for the
When you get all
engineering
done,
or
the
the
engineer
oversight?
gets all of your money and then some on liquidated damages.
Because
They had to have extra days as well.
I still question how.
No,
you-
I
how you
agree with you.
Yeah, we can visit that.
$1,500 a day, the consulting engineer, but I'm sure that,
we can revisit that.
We have to cover our costs and
Right.
others as well.
we're not doing that. We're not even covering their costs.
Okay.
C is a resolution approving a management agreement with Whitewater Sioux City for the Long Lines Family Recreation Center climbing wall facilities. And Matt, I'm sorry, I was gone with Bob. And am I reading this? We're right back to giving them $8,300 a month? So what did we gain by waiting?
Matt Salvatore, Parks and Recreation Director. The contract itself is the same, but it's being offset by that $50,000 donation. It was number 5 that you read.
Yeah, but,
And, yeah. No,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, and no, I feel bad interjecting because what I was going to say was maybe the assumption you made was the assumption that I made, and I called Matt about was just about that award and if they went to that board and appealed to them or how they got that grant money. And Matt informed me that actually the climbing crew and their fan base or the people that frequent there went out and raised the money to offset that to make sure that.
Correct. They raised the money and they funneled it through the Sioux City Parks and Recreation Foundation. So the foundation itself did not raise the money. It was funneled through the foundation.
So
Facilitated
the
the
contract is
Correct.
only half of the amount, what it was previously.
Correct. Yep. The net is $50,000. It was $100,000.
And what's going to happen next year?
They'd have to do the same thing in order to renew. Yep.
But
It's a good
Matt,
outcome, Matt.
Thank you.
It really is.
Matt, I was going to say one thing, or I have a request. Number one, I would say, I'd echo what Julie just mentioned, that I do want to commend the climbing wall staff and the people that are big fans of that. I know that I heard from some of them. We have a very passionate group. I think we have an extraordinary asset. I've talked to you about that I think our facility really is incredible, and a lot of people from the area have commented or complimented our city on having that. So I'm glad that we were able to reach this resolution, and kudos to you and your team for coordinating and working through this. I appreciate it. The one ask that I would have is, and I was speaking, actually, I received a note from Angela Drent, who I work with her on a number of different initiatives concerning the All Abilities Coalition, and really just a focus on what we can do to better incorporate inclusivity and people with disabilities being able to enjoy all of our different amenities. And I think the city's done an extraordinary job in that with our All Abilities Day out at Cone Park and different trails and different projects that we've worked on. But I would ask, and I don't know the answer to this, but I would make sure, I know we had adaptive climbing equipment and they held a training before, and Angela had mentioned that she didn't think that the current staff that Whitewater was trained on that or had went through. And so if you can encourage, I would like to see them. I know the training can have some cost associated with it, but if they would be willing to do a little fundraising or see what that number is to offset, I think that them being able to participate, and I'm sure that there are some other funds maybe available if a partnership or something can be done. But I think what I would love to see in a perfect world is if we're going to offer that adaptive climbing equipment, which we went to the trouble of getting, and I think is pretty cool. If we want to showcase that to the community, that we should really invite people like Camp High Hope staff, or we were just talking about Opportunities Unlimited, and anyone associated with the All Abilities Coalition that Angela Drent kind of heads, to be able to come down there and see that amenity. I think with the Miracle League and all of those different things that we're doing, we really are kind of a destination of sorts for people with disabilities, and I think that's something to be pretty proud of. So I would just, if you could encourage Alex, and I didn't get a chance to reach out to him with this ask, but yeah, if you could just ask if they'd be willing to do that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, when that training first took place, it was Parks and Recreation staff that was still doing the wall. So yes, we need to dust that off and make that a priority. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yes, thank you. And great work.
9 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution approving a partial settlement of a claim and authorizing payment. B is a resolution approving a partial settlement of a claim and authorizing payment. C is a resolution approving fund transfers for August. D is a motion approving claims, expenses, and receipts for August. 10 are actions.
Mayor, I need to abstain on 9A, conflict of interest.
10 is actions relating to property. A is a resolution terminating the development and minimum assessment agreements with Saltzman and Saltzman Management, accepting a warranty deed, and authorizing payment property at 3100 Floyd Boulevard. B is
I have a question on that one. I just want to confirm. So we're paying the property taxes that are due on that? I did pull up the title opinion that you sent me on Friday. Thank you. Are we paying the property taxes
Yes, Chris Myers, Business Development Coordinator. Yeah, the property taxes will be brought current as part of the closing.
Asking who's paying it.
Oh, who's paying it? They pay the property taxes.
They are paying.
Yeah, as part of the closing.
That'll be, yeah, that's for the current fiscal year then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
B is a resolution proposing lease property to Metro FiberNet in various locations throughout the city to provide telecommunication services. Just one question. Where's this money going to get deposited?
Slow to answer that one.
Gordon Ferris, city engineer. That should be in our fiber EIP for that money. But I can double check on that and get back to you.
Oh, yeah, I wish you would. And then Teresa, will you give us like a quarterly, how much money you collect every quarter? Thank you. Just took 12 years, so I feel good about myself that we finally got a little money rolling in. C is a resolution inviting proposals for lease of land in the Donner Park urban renewal area, announcing the intent to accept the proposal of Oracle Aviation and scheduling a hearing. Property at 6125 Pershing Street. 11 are applications for beer liquor license. 12 is boards commission committee minutes. Anyone want to speak on any of those items? Passes 5-0. 13 is a motion appointing representatives, major industrial use to fill vacancies on the wastewater treatment plant reconstruction and design advisory committee. The applicants are Chris Baltusa, Kelly Jurgensen, Eric Kafka, Desiree McCaslin, deferred from September 18th. I'll move to defer for one more week. Next.
Second?
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Recommendations of planning and zoning. 14 is a hearing and ordinance approving a development concept plan for 2319 and 2605 and a half 41st Street. The petitioners, Lieber Land Holdings, P&Z, recommends approval. First consideration approved on September 11th. Second consideration was approved on September 18th. Somebody will need to make a motion on that.
I'll move that.
Second?
Public hearings now open. Anyone to be heard?
David Raymond, 2701 41st Street. I just didn't want to have you think I changed my mind if I didn't show up today, but
Oh, no.
I'm still against it for the reasons I've stated before. I would encourage all of you to drive to North Ruston Street and look west across that area. You can see it across the stables land. It's a big valley. It's the bottom of a big valley that's going to get filled in. So I still question where that water is going to go or what's going to happen once they do have to do a drainage study. But oh, and I did have a question. There's been assurances, I think maybe it was Mr. Waters, that this would be done right, that you'd make sure it was done right, you guys. What's the mechanism for that? Because once they do the planning or the zoning change and plat's approved, it's kind of out of your hands, isn't it?
So it would all be relative to what you interpreted as done right. I was recommending that we make sure to work with the developer and the homeowners with some of those suggestions to have different assurances or at least a chain of documentation emphasizing different things. Should there be drainage, what they're prepared to do, what they can assure adjacent property owners. I talked with the Halls about their property specifically. And what we would be able to address. So it's not just the minimum standards, but in addition to the due diligence that they're doing the best they can to the property owners, and not once it moves on to a developer, you know, the adjacent property owners need to know who is responsible and who would help alleviate if there continues to be a problem that was not due to their fault.
But you can't really require
Chris?
more than the minimum recommendations or recommended standards. So
Right. Chris, Can you talk about the phases of the development, how it goes to P&Z first and planning, and can you walk through those and then inspections after that?
Sure. Chris Madsen, Senior Planner. Correct. Any approval tonight would not allow for any development or grading to occur on the site. We would still have to have a rezoning and preliminary plat submittal that would come forward. My understanding is the developer is going to take their time on that, perhaps even a couple months before they resubmit for those items. That would go to Planning and Zoning Commission with a public notice and then come back to City Council for a final hearing. Then, the construction grading would be able to begin at that point, which between community development, engineering, environmental, we would all be monitoring the site, taking any complaints if there's dust.
There's
that grading
3
were
city
to occur.
departments monitoring it at that point.
Correct.
It's no different than what we do with other projects.
Right,
Other
right.
developments.
Right.
As far as monitoring, the only thing.
Correct.
Do we have any projects where we will require like a performance bond? Have we ever,
Traditionally, the only time we've required that is if they ask for a final plat prior to the work being done. Then we would ask for a performance bond for all the work that has not been completed. That's so they can go and start selling lots at that point.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else be heard?
Lois Olet, 1413 West 2nd, Sioux City.
The mic down just a little bit. Thank
Is
you.
that better?
Yep, thank
I'm
you.
new to this, so bear with me.
Could you
right.
restate your
Typed up a
name?
little- Lois Olet, 1413 West 2nd.
Thank you.
I typed up a little thing to read to you because it's
Is
easier.
it on this item we're on, ma'am? Is it on 41st Street project?
No.
Okay, under citizen concerns, when I say citizen concerns.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Just give us a few minutes.
Anybody else on this item?
Jordan Roseboom, 391 Partridge Circle. We appreciate the city staff, city council, and public's valuable input throughout the conceptual plan process. We have heard the comments on location of the park, drainage concerns, grading concerns, native grass buffer zones, green spaces, and traffic concerns, just to note a few that have been numerous. We want this to be a typical subdivision development process, and we want to make sure things are done correctly to enhance the neighborhood. We plan to take the next 6 to 8 weeks to begin working towards more refined plans and the preliminary plat stage to answer remaining questions and continue to move forward the right way. We do not wish to bypass any process or rush any plans through. We appreciate everyone's understanding and assistance to get to this point. We look forward to continuing work to make this project a reality and benefit to the community as a whole. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Do you guys have any questions or?
We're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Four to 0 to 1, I abstain, which will be recorded as a no vote, I'm gathering, because I do not have a conflict of interest. 15 is a hearing and resolution determining an area to the city to be an economic development area, designating it to be an urban renewal project, and adopting amendment number 1 to the amended and restated Donner Park Urban Renewal Plan. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Are you here on the Donner Park one?
No.
Okay, you got to wait for citizen concerns, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Yep. I'm sorry, passes 5-0. 16 is an ordinance amending Chapter 3.14, amended Donner Park Urban Renewal Tax Increment District to revise the legal description of property to include the South Bridge 2 Urban Renewal Sub-Area. I'll move first reading.
Second.
Anyone to be heard? Passes 5-0. Anybody opposed to waiving statutory rule?
No.
That.
Scott. Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
Second, third.
Second.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye. 17 is a resolution accepting a purchase agreement with the Dorothy Moore Family Trust for land at 235th Street. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. Now, ma'am, you can come up and you guys are next, okay? Under citizens' concerns. You come up after this lady, okay? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, Lois Willett, 1413 West Second, Sioux City. I typed this up, so I'm understanding I have a 3-minute window here.
Go ahead.
Okay. The issue I'm bringing up forward and would like addressed is non-compliance of Sioux City Municipal Code regarding water runoff from the residential rental property at 1409 West 2nd onto my property, which is 1413, that I purchased in 2012. In the early spring of 2013, the tenant of 1409 removed a 3 cement block high retaining wall that was across the backyard of that property at the base of a slope bordering their patio. At that time, I was unaware of the consequences, but very quickly learned, and I'm still experiencing the damage, costs, and frustration that it entails. In 2015, I was diagnosed with spondylosis and severe vertigo, so I've been deemed disabled. In speaking with Stuart Drummond with City Inspection, now retired, I learned that this issue was a civil matter and that would be required to contact an attorney, which I did. A letter was sent to the landlord owner of 1409 West 2nd with little to no response and a letter of denial. In 2014, I contacted my homeowner's insurance. They sent an adjuster to assess the damage, and in doing so caused my homeowner's insurance to be canceled because of the condition of the foundation. The runoff water caused the retaining wall between the properties to collapse to within inches of my home, severely damaging my basement wall and leakage into the basement of water and mud. I did obtain estimate of costs from construction company, forwarded copies of pictures and my adjuster's assessment to the landlord owner of 1409, and received yet another denial. Finally, in 2018, their insurance adjuster who came to assess the damage, just started in 2013, claimed the 5-year statute of limitations had expired. In my frustration in 2018, I again contacted Stuart Drummond to ask what I could possibly do to move forward to repairs and reinstating my homeowner insurance. Stuart, after witnessing the damage, sent a letter with notice to abate a public nuisance and enclosed a copy of the declaration policy of erosion control and specified the paragraph that applied to the situation. In response to his letter, the landlord owner of the 1409 property did then replace the retaining wall between the properties with railroad ties, but I believe with lack of drain tiles, so mud and water seeps between the railroad tiles still on the railroad ties to my property. In 2018, I also learned about the Neighborhood Services Grant Program, Emergency Repair Program, to provide low-income homeowners repairs, to which I applied and was approved for $15,422, with a promissory note of remaining living in the property for 3 years, but would only include the east basement wall, which the contractors that bid did not agree to, saying it would more than likely fail. In 2022, after 4 inches of mud collected and dried in my basement, again, I contacted Neighborhood Services asking about the grant program, now called Elderly and Disabled Emergency Repair Program. I provided proof of my disability, applied, and was approved for $19,525 with a promissory note to remain or live in the home for 5 years, and it would include the north and almost half of the west basement wall. The damage just keeps growing. And this was completed near the end of this August, 2023, and on September 21st, During the torrential rain that day, I again have water in my basement, no mud currently, but with continued runoff, and it will deteriorate the new walls eventually. I truly appreciate the grant program, the construction, and the patience and understanding of the neighborhood services, but the Inspection Services Division has allowed this landlord owner of 1409 to be non-compliant as to the runoff from that property. The landlord owner of the 1409 property should be held accountable and not use $32,000 in grant money that could have been used by another low-income homeowner or two, probably at less cost had he complied 10 years ago when he was first notified of this issue. In closing, if required or requested, I have and can provide statements verifying validity of the runoff onto my property from 1409, receipts, pictures of the damage, correspondence from attorneys, contractor work completion, and grant information. Thank you for your time.
Would you give that to Bob Padmore? Does you have an extra one of those?
Do you need some, you want some of the pictures and stuff too?
Is your phone number on that, ma'am? Yeah, put your phone number on there too, please.
We'll be in touch then, Lois.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir?
Come on up, gentlemen.
I'd like to thank the City Council and Mayor Bob Scott for allowing us to speak to you today about what we think is a very important issue.
Sir, can I have you state your
Names and
name?
address.
Carl Hardy, 3236 Maplewood Street, Sioux City, Iowa.
Bill Scott, 2623 Apache Court.
For the record, just so that I don't damage your reputation, we're not related, Bill. I know.
I do have a brother by the name of Bob Scott.
I don't want them people to hold that against you.
Right.
Go ahead.
We appreciate being able to come before you today with a possible proposal for the Lewis and Clark Park. These, dear sirs, based upon two worthwhile proposals by both the Sioux City Explorers and the North Woods League, we feel the City of Sioux City and the Sioux City Explorers and Northwood League would benefit from the following. Both the Sioux City Explorers and the Northwest League would hold a co-lease of Lewis and Clark Park and in turn play the scheduled games in their respective leagues on an alternative basis. The Sioux City Explorers would play their out-of-town games when the Northwoods League is out of town playing on their own schedule, and the Northwoods League team would play in its home games when the Sioux City Explorers are out of town. This would benefit both groups and bring more revenue into the city having two baseball teams. Note, this type of arrangement is done in numerous cities around the United States. Example, the Los Angeles Lakers and Los Angeles Clippers play at Staples Centers in Los Angeles. We think this proposal would benefit both entities that are trying to, put forth a proposal. And so we would like for the city council or somebody to at least approach them with this proposal.
Where is that? Has the committee met yet to make a recommendation?
So the committee met.
At this point, I believe it'll be in front of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for their recommendation to council.
Okay. Matt, leave. We'll have
sure we
Bob
get it to
talk
them.
Coming back on October 9th is what I was.
We'll have Bob visit with Matt, who just happened to leave, the Parks and Rec Director, and see if there's any appetite for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I leave this proposal?
Yes.
Yep. Thank you.
Were you on the radio,
Well,
Carl?
I was a journalist at one time.
Oh, you've got
I've been on the radio.
quite a voice, yeah.
I used to work for the Omaha Tribe and the Winnebagos, and so I was on from time to time as their public relations
Oh,
officer.
wow.
Mr.
Nice,
Scott,
great
a
voice.
couple of Scott boys get out of high school, I think, didn't you?
Thank you.
Anyone else to be heard under citizen concerns? Okay. Matthew.
Not much. I believe all of you will be at the annual chamber dinner on Thursday. I will be celebrating my father's birthday on Thursday.
What is it for him this year?
don't know if you'd want me to tell you this. 27 on the inside, but
I was gonna say,
72.
he's close to mine, I know that.
70.
Tell him happy birthday.
Yeah, I thought he was right there with me, so. Is that it? Julie?
Well, let's see. Made it downtown to the Alley Art Festival. The artists are amazing. Just such a wonderful display of local and talented artists. That area is only going to become more enhanced with Downtown Partners and the grant that they received. They're going to light those alleys up a little bit more than what they already are. So I'm very excited to see how that turns out. But it was a great festival. The weather was terrible most of the day. We didn't get a break from Mother Nature and the big guy upstairs, but I guess they knew best. So it was a great time. I appreciate everyone's work that went into it. And keep watching for more festivals. There's always something more coming.
The only thing I was going to mention or make sure to mention was this Saturday. I don't have all the details on my phone, but I made sure to jot down that the re-event will be happening up at the city landfill. So make sure to go up there, search online for the details. They're on our website, on social media, a couple different avenues. But yeah, I would just encourage people. I believe in my phone I have from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., but I forget if that's correct. So I would, if you're interested in getting rid of, maybe you're doing some cleaning before fall and winter. So if you're
They
doing
take
so.
all sorts of things.
Yeah, you can definitely check it out. So don't just throw it away. You know, if you need to dispose of those items in this way, it's great that the city can do this. So that's the re-event this Saturday. That's all I have, Mayor.
Yeah?
The Sioux City Journal had a nice article in the paper about the Mayor's Youth Commission is accepting applications. I'd like to read just part of it because it's important to this community. Applications for the 2024 Sioux City Mayor's Youth Commission are now available. Applicants must be in either 9th or 10th grade and live in Sioux City or go to school in Sioux City. The Sioux City Mayor's Youth Commission is a citywide high school student organization. Its purpose is to explore, communicate, and provide for the needs, problems, issues, and activities affecting the city's youth. I will say this about the Mayor's Youth Commission. If everyone could act the way they do, with civility, professionalism, and a high degree of ethics, we would all be better for it. They're good role models. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that these applications need to be turned in by the end of October. That's all I have, Mayor.
Nothing you're going to do about it, but Mary Coaster on Facebook's exactly right. These new garbage cans are a disaster when it rains. You open the lid and all the water goes into the garbage can. And what do they say? Don't get your recycles wet, and you can't help but get them wet. Now, that's the most poorly designed thing I've ever seen in my life.
What you have,
Oh, I wasn't here.
what you have to do.
What you have to do is try to dump the garbage can over.
No, just tip it up.
No, it goes right in.
No,
garbage.
the whole thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
okay, that's fine, except for when you got it full of garbage,
I understand.
it's a little tough to.
Yeah. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no way to get it up.
Unbelievable. We spent all that money, or this contractor did, to have that result, so. Wonder how many gallons of water we're gonna pay for take to the landfill this week. Consider half a gallon of garbage can with the rains that occurred. Move we adjourn.
Second.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Amber, do you want me?